Yo, 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 welcome back to Brandon Smooth TV. Back at y'all with another review. Episodes 8 through 10 of House of the Dragon, and where the finale was crazy. Now, episode 8, this episode was all about who was going to take the Driftmark throne. As you know, Rhaenyra's got them strong boys, and them boys ain't got no silver hair. So Corlys's brother, he wants to keep that bloodline pure with that Valerian blood. He knows them ain't his goddamn nephews, kids. Them ain't his nephews. They, you can obviously tell. Now, this lie that Rhaenyra kept going on makes sense. Her and Rhaenyra had an agreement. We know about that. But them ain't his goddamn kids. So, shit's crazy. Also, in this episode, you see that Alicent and Otto Hightower, they running shit like the king is already dead because he's been bedridden over the last few years, and he do look dead as fuck, like he's on his last goddamn legs. Now, Aegon's ass is he's taking it from chicks without he's graping them, y'all, and this happens so much that you can tell the queen has dealt with this. Her son is an evil little piece of shit. He don't want to be king, but abusing women is not the way. He need to really be locked up and have his little pecker cut off for that shit. Now, one of the handmaidens get raped, and the queen, she gonna give her a bag of gold and some Plan B tea, and told her basically to fuck off. That way he won't have no heirs running around. Now, you gonna tell, especially, when we move forward and he does take the Iron Throne, he's probably gonna have a whole bunch of bastards running around, illegitimate ass kids. And that could become an issue, just like this shit is now, when his heir needs to be chosen. Because if you got these illegitimate kids popping up out of nowhere, shit, war. That's all it's gonna be. Now, this episode, we also find out that Rhaenyra had 2 more kids with Daemon. Named her son Aegon. Lord, how many Aegons is it now? And Viserys, of course, one after her father, which was cool. The king did get to meet him. Before he, we already know he looking like the Crypt Keeper. Jason, his brother, we see have all grown up, and so has Aemon with his one-eyed ass. We see him out there fighting, and he's been constantly training. You can tell he took this shit serious. Last time we seen him, he had stole Vhagar, and now he's been on his war shit. He's out there fighting bitch-ass Kristen Cole, and he knows his shit. He's besting them, you know what I'm saying, and shit. So you can tell that he's been on top of his A game. Hopefully them other boys did too. Now, Viserys, he wanted to have dinner with his family, and he came out and said, that he wanted to have dinner with his family to try to basically bring everybody together once and for all. He know his time is up, and he's definitely trying to do that. But really, this whole scene, my guy, Sir Vaemon, Corlys's brother, was talking that shit. And he already knew, basically, since the king pops up out of nowhere and says, why are we even having this issue about who's going to be ahead of Driftmark when they already got a successor. Corlys' brother told the truth, and he didn't give a fuck. Called them bastards, and called Rhaenyra a whore. He said Ray is a ho-ho, which she is, because she's been just giving that pussy up to anybody that's guarding her and not really, doing what she's supposed to do. Now, the king, when he showed up, he did call shots. And since fucking Vaemon was like, shit, they whores. Because, Daemon, he was sitting there waiting for him to say it. Cut his motherfucking head off, left his tongue. And he basically kind of did it on the king's behalf, so he really didn't get attacked, but yeah, it was over. Aemon was eating that up. Aegon ass was looking like, ooh, this is gross. And the sister, she had kind of predicted it, because we know Aemon's sister wife, weird ass fucking Targaryen shit, she be having those prophecies and she can kind of see into the future, so she knew somebody was gonna lose their fucking head. Now, the Last Supper was cool. Everybody was cool until Aemon called his nephew strong. I thought that shit was funny because their lineage ain't theirs. And then at the end, of course, Alicent hears the fucking king think he's talking to Rhaenyra because he was talking to her earlier about the song on Ice and Fire. We know that's the prophecy that's given from heir to heir. Not brother to brother, not cousin. You have to be heir to the Iron Throne for this prophecy to pass down to you. So she thought, since he mentioned Aegon, he was actually talking about the first Aegon. Aegon the Conqueror. She thought she was talking about their son together, but he wasn't. So fast forward to 9. I called 9. They called it the Green Council, whatever they called it. This is let's hurry up and put this nigga on the throne episode before everybody find out. So we end up finding out the king is dead, and Otto and the Greens, they already been on the move. It was funny because they had already planned on when he died to put Aegon on the throne. They didn't even tell Alicent's ass. So Alicent's not really running shit, y'all, but her mouth. And she was like, oh yeah, on top of that, he did mention that he wanted Aegon to be king, and his words. No, he really didn't. He was just fucking saying some shit. Song of Ice and Fire. He was just saying random ass shit. So not really. But I can see how she can twist them words, because the only thing she picked out of that conversation was Aegon and King, motherfucker. And the prince who was promised. She didn't hear shit up. So these sneaky motherfuckers then locked our girl Rhaenys. That's Corlys's wife, the queen who never was, in her chamber. They didn't have a quick council meeting. Somebody was like, hey, y'all, this is wrong. When the old dude's in the council, he was like, yeah, I know Viserys. He would have never said that. He always wanted Rhaenyra to be queen. And Kristen Cole's bitch ass gonna come over and fucking hit his head into a fucking metal ball and kill this nigga on the spot. Also, basically, they lined everybody up and said, look, Aegon's gonna be king. If you don't bend the knee, you can go hang from a tree. Basically, what you want to do. And some motherfuckers was hard. Like, no, I'm sticking with my motherfucking King Viserys decision, and Rhaenyra's the queen. It was like, yep, go on and escort these motherfuckers out to put their head on a spike. Just a real effed up episode, right? So, Eric, some of the Kingsguard, they've been tasked, and Otto basically sent them out, and then Rhaenyra sent her people out, and they trying to go find Aegon's ass, because they want to kind of woo him, you know what I'm saying, have them do what he said, what they want them to do. So they end up finding this drunk ass in episode 9, had this big ass ceremony where they forced people into the fucking dragon pit area, and fucking made this dude king. They didn't try to get it all official and shit. They didn't got basically their version of the Supreme Court and all the high maesters and fucking the 7 lords of the 7 and all of that shit, and made this motherfucker king. Now, as soon as he had that blade in his hand and they put that crown on his head, he actually started wanting to be king. And you could start feeling this stuff. But at the end of this goddamn episode, Rhaenys said, fuck that shit. Broke a hole in the middle of the floor. Probably killed at least 200 people. And, man, I thought she was about to say Dracarys and burn these motherfuckers alive. But she didn't, but she let them know I could, bitch. And then she flew out straight to Dragonstone, which leads right into episode 10 in the finale. We got our girl Rhaenys and Rhaenyra and Rhaenys walk in and say, look, they just put Aegon on the throne. Your daddy dead. And they coming for you and your family. Period. Now she starts having an early labor, like, oh shit, because you could tell she was pregnant. She'd been pregnant down there every few episodes. And she was like, oh shit. All this bad information and had her start going into labor super early, right? Damon's on top of his shit. He like, hey y'all, we got to go burn these motherfuckers up with the dragons. Get all the men, get people together. But Rhaenys is like, no, don't do shit until I had his baby. So very gruesome scene. I mean, I don't know how much gruesome y'all can get. Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. We know it's fucked up, especially back then with epidurals, and of course, modern science wasn't a thing back then. So I get it. I get how gruesome it is, and they kind of show the parallels of what women have to go through, the men have to go through on the battlefield. They have to go through, through childbirth, which is fun. So they get the fucking news. Daemon, he takes the last few Kingsguard members around him. He got Caraxes out there over his shoulder like, look, y'all gonna swear allegiance to us now. Because we're not about to have all this sneaky back and forth bullshit. And they was like, hell yeah. Especially with the fucking, the red worm looking, ringworm, or whatever they call him. Caraxes is fucking got that long ass neck, was looking right at his ass. Like, what y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna get down or lay down? That's what Daemon basically said. He hit him with the fucking Benny Siegel. Okay? State prop. Y'all gonna get down or lay down? And they was like, we're gonna get down. I was like, yeah, I know y'all would. That's what Daemon was like. Now, we fast forward, she had a baby, and it's very gruesome. And then during the baby's funeral, man, one of the heirs come up with the original crown. He took the crown, he took Viserys' crown, and they crowned our girl the queen. You know what I'm saying? Queen of the 7 kingdoms. So now we have a king and a queen ruling at the same goddamn time. You can see, obviously, how that's going to work. Now, all of the men around her basically wanted to go to war. And they had a point. They was like, look, let's surround King's Landing and just burn everybody the fuck up before shit start getting out of hand. Then fucking Otto Hightower's ass, after that, comes meet with him talking about, look, You can keep your kids. They won't be bastards no more. You can keep goddamn Dragonstone. Just bend the knee. And Rhaenyra was like, I'll think about it, you know what I'm saying, and get back to you later. But I wanted her to fucking torch Otto Hightower's ass right on there. Because Otto Hightower is an evil genius. Yes, they would have killed him, would have been an after war, but Allison, she would have just been led by the other dudes. And Otto was really the motherfucking G, because he always see 2, 3, 4 steps ahead of everybody. He is an evil genius. So I thought she would have said Dracarys and blew his motherfucking ass up right then, but she didn't. Right? So now the goal is to get as many allies. Rhaenyra said, look, we need to see who our allies is before we go to war. So let's send these ravens out to Storm's End. Let's go send them up north with the Starks. Let's go to all these different locations and send these ravens out and see who's our ally and remind these people of their promise they made to me when they bowed down and said, hey, you gonna be the queen and I'm gonna roll with you. Now the oldest son, he like, you know what? Jace, he like, man, we got dragons. Let's just send them. They faster than ravens. We can beat motherfuckers there. So they decided to go on Dragonback, and you can tell Rhaenyra did not want to send her son, younger son, or any of her sons, but the youngest son, especially Luke. And she was like, look, you just go as a messenger, okay? Not a warrior. Don't let them start shit with you. Just deliver my message. So this nigga flies to Stormfront, the Stormlands, gets off his fucking horse, his dragon, and this nigga sees fucking this who we see on the screen right now, Vhagar's ass, and she's just parked outside, and she's fucking huge, looking like a mini Godzilla, because they got the lightning in the background, kind of looming in the background. You can see flashes of Vhagar just parked there. Number one, Vhagar is here, which means fucking your uncle's here, your evil one-eyed uncle that you cut his eye out. This nigga's here. He obviously is here because his dragon's parked outside. So he's like, oh shit, I gotta go in. Me, I would have hightailed it out of there. Like, you know what? We're gonna go on and bounce. But nope, he went on in there like a G. You know, he stood up for his mama and said, hey, I'm such and such and such, Prince such and such, and look, we remind you of your offer. You know, you said you would be faithful and loyal to my mother when King Viserys. And he was like, well shit. He was like, Aemon did offer to at least start allegiance with me and marry one of my old ass looking daughters. Them was some old ass looking bitches too. He didn't have no young looking daughters. Anyways, Aemon was like, hey, why you here? Go and cut your eye out since you cut mine out, eye for eye. And, you know, little Luke like, no, I'm not doing that shit. So, you know, not Baratheon. What's a Baratheon? He might have been a Baratheon. I forgot. Whoever the king was like, the king of Stormfront, he was like, look, you're not going to be fighting up in here, all right? You're not going to be spilling blood in my goddamn hall. Escort this nigga back to his limo. Dragon limo. So he hops on this shit, and he fucking looks back out, and fucking Vhagar is gone. So he's talking to his dragon Ares, who's like, focus. Don't be scared. You know, we're going to get back home. And he takes off. Man, Aegon tries to come and fuck him up. And Vhagar's so big on this little ass dragon, it just fucking looks like when Star Wars, the Star Destroyer was over the Millennium Falcon, y'all. It was just fucking terrible. Like, just fucking, this dude is huge. You didn't have no reason to be in here. So, epic fight. We didn't get to start the war with the dragons, but we got to see a taste of how this battles will look. And it was super cool. Vhagar's coming in, acting like he gonna fuck him up. And then out of nowhere, little Luke's dragon, Arax, fucking comes out of nowhere and burns motherfucking Vhagar in the eye. And he's up here telling him, no, stop, obey me, in High Valyrian. He's talking that language and shit. But this dragon was like, oh shit, so Vhagar was like, okay, now we playing. Now you serious? He's like, alright, I got you. Nigga thought he'd escaped, made it out of the Stormland and the rain and the thunder and shit, and then you see this scene right here. This motherfucker comes up and swallows this nigga like a goldfish. Boom, boom. And fucking Aemon sitting there looking like, oh shit, I killed this little nigga. But it wasn't really him that killed him, it was Vhagar. Because after Vhagar got burned in the face, Vhagar was like, fuck that shit. And Aemon's like, obey me, stop, obey me. It was too fucking late. And this is exactly what Viserys was talking about at the beginning of the first episode when he told fucking Rhaenyra, we gotta power us Targaryens that we truly didn't understand. And with these dragons, they are sentient beings. They are alive. They got their own brains and own minds, and they're not fucking dumb creatures. So yeah, he ate motherfucker up. All you seen was wings and little bit of gills, paper mache looking shit. And that little nigga was dead. Last thing you know, last scene, Daemon walks in super slow. Grabs Rhaenyra, turns her back to the council, tells her the news, and you can tell she grieved because she almost broke down, but then she got her composure and got her shit together, and that face when she turned around means fucking war. So going into season 2, of course, we got to wait a very long time for it to start. We're talking about 2024, maybe. Overall, I liked the first season. The first season was good. It kept me engaged. It kept me going, especially with characters I didn't know. I ain't gonna lie. I like the younger Rhaenyra actor better than the older one. Just to me, I don't know why. I'm gonna miss my boy Viserys. Damon is just gonna be Damon. Damon's gonna. I'm gonna start calling him Debo. Debo's gonna be Debo, man. He's gonna do what he's gonna do. Glad Hightower made it because I do like the evil geniuses, and I can't wait to the second season to see the retaliation. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, I'll be back with more reviews. Peace.